Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, students, welcome back to Dorkology101. I'm Tony.
I'm Mark.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Paul.
And today we're going to comb over the mind-bending move that Sony made this week by buying Bungie. Before we get started, I'd like to ask anyone listening to please like and subscribe. It's easy, it's fast, and it really helps the channel grow. And as always, regardless, thank you for listening. So let's kick off. I got a quick question for you guys. If you had to sum up your feelings about this Sony's acquisition of Bungie with one word, what would it be?
Stupid.
Why?
Revenge?
It's either one of those two.
Not why? I'm saying why.
I was taking a sip of water. Revenge.
Like, there was no point to that.
There's a lot of points to that. We can go.
There's a lot of points.
A long list of bullet points over that, but I think it was an incredibly smart move on their half. But we'll dig through it. We'll get your guys' opinions on it, and then I'll let you know generally how I'm feeling on why I like this move. But yeah, why don't you guys kind of, since you know what, we'll step out of order for a change. Brandon, you seem to have some pretty strong feelings. So what's your feelings on this?
First of all, I feel like they basically did this, and I want y'all to imagine this for a moment. Imagine Microsoft's Goro in PlayStation with Johnny Cage. All this was a dick punch. That's really all it was. Split dick punch. Because they knew they couldn't drop kick him any other way. That's literally the only reason they did this. Because let's think about PlayStation's track record for what it's going to do. PlayStation A does not like its exclusive titles and properties on PC. Look how long it took y'all to get God of War Horizon Zero Dawn or Death Stranding.
That's fair.
What they're going to do is, because they're going to push for there to be a Destiny 3. That's what I predict seeing. And they're going to make it exclusive to PS5. So basically, 80% of people are not going to be able to play it.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
No, I know. I will absolutely step all over that based on some clear, very, very clear factoids. I literally have a list called factoids that some people know and some people don't know. And you see, they know this. So it was already announced that Bungie, while they are purchased by Sony, they will retain the rights to create and form and change Destiny as they see fit. Sony has no hand in what they do with the game. So as far as that goes, they have no reason whatsoever to do any of the things you think Sony would have them do. On top of that, they've already announced one of the first things they mentioned is it is going to remain for the remainder of Destiny, that is going to remain cross-platform. They have made that very, very clear because they know it would alienate a lot of their business, and they don't want to do that. Like they just don't. They do it with a cross.
Alienate a lot of their business. Basically, Bungie as Destiny. That's it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This was a similarly same thing with Activision. They said, "Oh, we still own it. We get to do what we want."
But they only had a 10-year contract with Activision. They weren't bought by Activision. They were partnered with Activision. And Activision was basically their bank, but to get Activision's money, they had to concede to a lot of what Activision wanted to do. And Activision is highly known, like EA, for being a very greedy company. They want to make money. I mean, all companies want to make money, but they're so bent on making money that they will forego quality across the board. And we've seen this with both EA and Activision and how badly their games tend to fall apart, the issues they have. The reason, what's the game that was supposed, I mean, there's lots of Destiny killer games, but what was the one that really, like, it really had, Anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
Anthem looked amazing. The concept was pretty amazing, but as we saw, it fell apart hard.
The delivery was horrible. Yeah.
But how many times do we hear, "Oh, this game is the new Destiny killer," and it dies instantly?
And that's the thing. Anthem had the leg. I wouldn't say, and I don't think anything is exactly a Destiny killer. Destiny's kind of created its own universe, and he really
little
can't
world.
touch it. But I do feel like Anthem had the legs to generally compete with Destiny. Unfortunately, much like the Challenger, I know this is kind of fucked up.
Really? We're going to do this?
It blew up right after takeoff. It did, and it was really, really, really sad to see.
Yeah, it was.
Because
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
It looked awesome, and it's sad to have seen it fall apart like that. But that's how Activision works. They get out there, they say, yeah, build this game. Now, this is what we want specifically. We want microtransactions. They got to be expensive. They got to include all the things that people want. So whether it be weapons or characters or whatever, you got to make those things only accessible through money. What do you mean you want to spend more time working on bugs and padding out the game? No. That's not how we do things here. Just put out the product and make sure they have to pay. That's how Activision works. EA, I don't actually have a clue who's worse with this, EA or Activision, but both have a
I don't know. Battlefront 2 was pretty bad for a while.
It was.
What
Yes,
Battlefront 2? That doesn't exist.
I knew all about what the hell happened with them.
Never heard about that game.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's the.
It's really good now. I haven't been playing it, but
it's called Mandela effect. You believe that happened, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2 was never a thing.
But yeah, so we're not going to have, at least as far as Destiny goes. Now, to make that very clear, as far as Destiny goes, Destiny is pretty darn safe. They have a contract based on it. There's absolutely no reason for Bungie to screw up Destiny because Destiny is already set and it's got its foundation. They don't have to make any drastic changes. The only thing Sony offers Bungie in this regard is more money for them to do more creative things with the game. Like, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, it took Bungie a very long time to recoup from leaving Activision because, unfortunately, like I said before, Activision was the bank. That's what they were. That's what they brought to the table. They brought money to the table, and so when they finally was like, we can't do this anymore, we're losing a lot of players. They were hemorrhaging players. They had to break free of Activision. They had a 10-year contract and left after like 8.
What's the average player count for Destiny 2 even now?
Let me check that out right now.
Up.
In the last 13 days, it's around 53,000
compared
average.
to what, about a few months ago?
And if we go back in November, we're talking about 44. December, November 2020, almost 100K.
That's it. Like, people, it always kills me when people say, "Oh, Destiny's dead, bro." No, it's not.
I'm not saying I never spoke that it was dead. I said,
"Oh no, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying that I was speaking on the numbers that just got. I was talking about there's so many people you talk to online, and their first, I don't play Destiny anymore. It's trash. Destiny's dead anyway." And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Destiny's one of the biggest games out there, and it's going to continue to be the biggest game. Like, what's cool about Destiny? Or Bungie's move with Destiny is that they created a sequel, which a lot of fans weren't pleased with, but they had no choice. Activision's big on sequels. So it was very clear that Bungie wanted to just make an expansive world, and that's it. Unfortunately, Activision is Activision, and they were like, we need a sequel. Sequel means money. We want people to buy more games. And so, begrudgingly, they did it. They said, fine, we'll make a sequel, and so on. You know what's very hard for games to do? Destiny exploded after the first raid came out, and everyone jumped on board. It was beloved by everyone. Destiny was a hot ticket. And you didn't think they could get any bigger. And then a sequel was announced. And as we're all aware, it is very, very difficult to put out a sequel to a game that's as big as something like Destiny or whatnot, because they tend to never live up to the hype, to what came before it. And it's like that with movies and pretty much anything. And yet, they put out this sequel, and they didn't skip a beat. They got even bigger than Destiny 1. That is incredible. Few companies can pull that off so flawlessly. Look at Overwatch. Perfect example. Overwatch has been working on Overwatch 2, or no, Blizzard's been working on Overwatch 2 forever. Same with Diablo. They've been working on these sequels and things like that forever, and they can't seem to belt them out the way that they continue to tell us they're going to belt them out. You know, it's been like that for years with a lot of companies, and yet Bungie, knocking it out of the park. You know, so it goes right back to what I was saying before. They have no reason whatsoever to rock the boat with this. They're gonna keep making great content, you know, and I think more now so than ever because they're gonna have more money now. Like that's kind of what it is. They basically get the benefit of having Activision money. Actually, they're gonna have way more money than Activision was putting out there, but they have the same benefit of having a bank without the interference. That's a big deal. Because they're finally, before the whole Activision deal, before the Sony deal, they were in a situation where they were trying to crawl out of a hole thanks to Activision, and they finally did it. It took a while, it took a few years, and they basically were begging their fans to please trust us. We will get there. And a lot of the content they were putting out was weak. Really, really, really weak.
Well, I mean, it was during the time of they were with Blizzard, not Blizzard, but Activision, that I stopped playing because the content was boring.
Yeah,
and as soon as they left,
yeah,
I start playing again. It's like you said once, it's my cocaine. I go play other stuff for detox, and then I relapse.
All right, the Dorkology podcast does not induce the use of cocaine. I'm just putting that out there really quickly before anything gets misconstrued.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll beat that.
Honestly, I think the Destiny model of being episodic instead of coming out with a whole new sequel is probably going to be the direction that the gaming industry is going to go. And if you're not talking about indie games.
Yeah, I agree. Look at this season. Every week we had to do something and wait till next week to get the other part of the story, and it kept us coming back because we wanted to know more, right?
Well, that was the issue. Yeah. They were as they were calling it, they were drip feeding content, and it wasn't working out very well because the roadmap was already they would do a roadmap before Beyond Light came out. They used to do a roadmap where, hey guys, on the 24th, we're going to do this. And then on the 1st of this month, we're going to do this. And so you already knew what was coming and you know, you already knew what to prepare for. And then they would put it out and you could just burn through the content in a day. And then there was nothing to do. And this was an issue that they had for a while. And a lot
I hear that complaint a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I hear that complaint a lot, that there are people who play with their friends, play Destiny for about a day and knock everything out, and then don't play Destiny again for another week.
Yeah, because there was nothing to do after you did all of that. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that they had left Activision. Because even when they were with Activision, they put out, honestly, with Activision, they put out some of their best content ever, and that's because they had the money to do it. That's when we got Forsaken. Forsaken is, without a question, and I know anyone who's listening will agree, the greatest DLC they ever put out.
Yeah, I just replayed Forsaken with my Titan today, and it's still one of the best DLC they ever had.
It's amazing. It's a great story, and it just everything it connects to, how it's put together, the enemies you fight. I mean, we get the Scorner now. We get a whole new type of enemy. It was incredibly done.
May I say RIP to a real hunter? Just want to say that out there.
And it was a great overhaul of the weapons and everything else.
Yeah, I miss Cade, but it's they've yet to replicate Forsaken, and that's difficult. I'm not gonna crap on them for that. When something that good happens, it's very hard to catch lightning in a bottle again with it.
We might be surprised with the Witch Queen.
And that's exactly my point. When Witch Queen, be around Beyond Light, is when they were finally in the black. They finally could put behind all of the crap after leaving Activision. Like I said, they were begging their.
They were in the light with Activision, then they went to the darkness, and now they released Beyond Light.
Yeah, and that's the deal. Is I felt bad for them because they were like, "Hey guys, please stick it out with us. We're having some money troubles right now, but trust me, when we get all our ducks in a row, we will start giving you what you want. And they did. It took a while. We got some pretty bad DLCs and seasons like Shadow
season of the season of the Drifter.
Yeah, season of Drifters, season of Pirates, all of those were just horrible.
I gotta respect a developer that will level with you like that, though.
They did. They came forward. They did several twabs and things. For those that are not aware, it's this week at Bungie. They put out every week updates so fans know everything that's happening, what they want to do, who they stand by. They're also an incredibly progressive company. They always tend to go out of their way to make sure they hire people who fit the mold of what they believe in. Hiring across the spectrum, whether they be Black, homosexual, disabled, they do it all. And they make sure they promote these things. Destiny is one of the biggest charitable gaming companies on Bungie, I would say, out there. They make so much money for charities, it's insane. And I do my best to buy a little something every time they do, even if I can. And they incentivize by, hey, we're giving out pins, like special Destiny pins. There are people, big collectors for that kind of stuff. We're putting out chips and ghost shells and armor pieces and things like that. Obviously, always cosmetic because you can't give away weapons and things. That would not be cool. But it does help people like, oh, man, I really want that. And so they do, and that's huge. And they're like, hey, they're either sending a large percentage or all of it to a charity. And I always respect them for that. As long as I don't find out anything shady, I look so highly upon what they do. And I wish more companies did. I really, really do. There would be such big changes if they did. So like I said, I respect Bungie for their move. And I believe without a shadow of a doubt that with Sony, it's only going to get better with them at their back, especially since they've already went through trouble with Microsoft when they were with them during Halo, and then they went through trouble with Activision. They've already walked the path of bad. They already know what they want and what they don't want. It's like being in a bad marriage. Your next time you get married, I'm not saying that people can't get into several bad marriages. They can. But if you pay attention, you will know what you want to change in your next marriage. You want to know that she can do this and you can do this and so on and so forth. I can understand that first time you've never been married before, so you're going to make mistakes and things, and hopefully it doesn't cost that, but that next time what you need to do and what you want her to do to make the things work. And so far, Bungie's been through 2 marriages that have not gone well.
Hopefully, third time's the charms.
Yeah, exactly. Third time's a charm, and they clearly, based on the contract things we've read and the information they put out and the questions they answered, it is very clear. Bungie was like, "Listen, we will make this deal, but there are some caveats we are going to have to settle right now." And it looks like Sony was like, "Okay."
Is there any information on who approached who?
As far as I'm aware, I believe. So from what I'm understanding here is that Sony, it's kind of a 50-50. Basically, Bungie was putting out feelers, like looking at companies who could buy them. At the same time, there's no information as far as I'm aware. And if anybody who's listening knows something definitive, please post it because I would love to know. But it basically we're putting out feelers, releasing information. Hey, we're looking to sell, and Sony approach them like, hey, listen, we want to talk shop now. With that said, I do believe, and I know a lot of people think, oh, this was a big revenge buy and whatever the case may be, but I'm here to put something to bed for you guys. For anyone listening who thinks, oh, we definitely did this to
I mean, even IGN posted an interview with Sony that they basically said, "Oh no, it wasn't to get back at Microsoft."
No one's gonna buy that.
No, sorry, no one. It's a bidding war right now.
My question though, is it a dick punch from Sony, a dick punch from Bungie, or a double dick punch?
Let me tell you a little something about how big conglomerate companies work.
Might be some grudge there from Microsoft.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do today? This guy bought something, so I'm definitely gonna buy it too. No, that's not how these companies work. These plans, these buys, they take months of negotiating. This is not done overnight. Sure, there could have been something in the grapevine that they heard that maybe Microsoft might be doing this, that, and the other. It's possible. And could that have generally pushed their hand a bit? Totally possible. But as far as we're aware, it was Destiny who was putting out the feelers for people to buy. So it's not a matter of if they did it for Microsoft or if Sony bought because of Microsoft or whatever the case may be. That really wouldn't make a lot of sense. Then we're not talking about a single person who's just a big billionaire or trillionaire who sees his neighbor buy a yacht and so he decides to buy a bigger yacht. No, that's not how these companies work. They don't wake up and just decide to buy something because they're at war with another company. They're not thinking about each other like that. I mean, obviously, we want to win the business of people, but they're not just throwing money at anything and seeing what sticks. They plan this stuff out. They have guys who do this regularly. They sit down for months negotiating. Now, with that said, it is possible that they may have been at the table for months trying to hammer this stuff out. But when Microsoft bought Activision, that could have forced their hand to make the deal, like to settle on the price, because a lot of people, including myself, $3.6 billion for Bungie is a lot. It is more than they are worth.
I mean, I was checking Bungie's list of game, and Destiny and Halo are basically the biggest one and almost the only one they ever made.
Yeah, and they don't even have Halo anymore. 343 has Halo now.
Yeah.
So
343. No, when I looked at, actually, wait, let me think.
Yeah, it's 343 Studio that got Halo, the rights to Halo.
Yeah, after Halo 3,
which, by the way, were the best Halos. They were made by Bungie.
Yeah, the Halo 1, 2, and 3 were made by Bungie, and they were the best. And then after that, it went to like ODST.
Don't talk trash about Reach. I fucking love Reach.
Yeah, it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't 1, 2, and 3. Like
no, I agree.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
So Destiny is it. Destiny is their baby, and
their only baby.
$3.6 billion on a company that has won I can't say it right. A very successful game for many years. Still, 3.6 for one.
That is a lot to pay for a single game.
Exactly. That is so. It is possible that they were at the table trying to get a lower deal, and then Microsoft was like, "We just bought Activision," and they were like, "Shit, you know what? Pull the trigger. 3.6 it is. Let's make these moves and move on." That is possible. I believe that, but I definitely, for 1 second, do not believe that they were like, Microsoft just bought Activision. Charlie, go buy Bungie. Do it right now. The hell with what they want. No, that's
it could have been, like they got wind that Microsoft was talking with Activision, and someone in Sony was like, you know what, let's send out feelers to Bungie, see if they're interested, and it could happen like that. Because you're right, it does happen a lot slower than, hey, he's got a yacht, I'm going to buy a bigger yacht.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I say the revenge aspect doesn't make a lot of sense. I know a lot of people like that aspect because narratively it sounds funnier and cooler and just far more interesting to watch the battle of the big businesses. Although let's not kid ourselves, Microsoft takes shits bigger than Sony.
How many employees does Bungie actually have?
600 in 2019. That was the last census they had.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a game developer that basically only works on one game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do have a lot of shit to do on that game.
Yeah,
they do, and that's
I have to assume out of the 600. I have to assume, and I'm pretty sure Tony's gonna agree with me there. Out of the 600 employees, I'd roughly say there's about 500 working in the music department because that shit is dope.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah. I will give you that.
Yeah.
As of the last month or two, Bungie has been hiring like crazy, like round the clock hiring, and to the point where I went to my brother-in-law, was like, "Hey, dude, you might want to look into these guys because they are hiring like crazy." He's I think he's like, I don't know the exact title, but he's like head of IT at his company. and he's been with them for years. And so, not to disclose too much information or whatever, but he's curious as to what's out there.
But yeah, Bungie needs all that money to keep the servers running, to keep being able to fix various things in the game, to put out new stuff, and it's very hard for an independent studio to be able to afford that.
Bingo, exactly. Especially since they were, I was really impressed because they were revamping their headquarters. They were starting another headquarters someplace else. I don't have the name or details on that, but they were like making moves. Finally, they were growing. But of course, it'd be difficult for them to continue. Like you said, you need more. The bigger you get, the more you're going to need to run those things. And unfortunately, like you said, for an independent company, that's tough, man.
That's very hard. Yeah,
it is. I'm impressed with what they've done so far, but this move kind of had to happen. It just did. If you want if you want Bungie, if you want Destiny and whatever IPs you create afterwards to grow, you gotta start making some big money moves. And Sony, honestly, is the best move they could have made. They already been in bed with Microsoft, and they really. I don't know, to be fair, I don't know what the fallout between Microsoft and Bungie was. I did hear some inklings about them not having the same vision when it came to Halo as they did. But again, I don't know the full details the way I do with Activision.
They decided to leave Microsoft because Bungie didn't want to keep making Halo game. They want to do more, but under Microsoft, they were only allowed to work on Halo.
Yeah,
so they fulfilled the contract and left. That's basically what happened.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, because I know they bought Microsoft. I mean, they bought Bungie.
Yeah, Bungie bought Microsoft. Noted.
Bungie got bigger pockets than we know.
You learned it here first, people.
But yeah, I know they bought Microsoft. Jesus. No.
Our host is confused.
Bungie after they debuted Halo, like they at what's the gaming convention?
E3?
Was it E3 at the time?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think it was E3 at the time. It was something else. Whatever the hell case, it was a huge gaming convention. They announced Halo, and it was shortly after announcing Halo. Halo hadn't even come out yet, and Microsoft was like, "Get over here. We want you. Come over here. I like what you guys are doing. We want to be a part of that." So Microsoft knew from jump, this is what they wanted, and that was it. Now, it makes sense that we don't want to make Halo games anymore. We want to do something else, and they're like, well, then peace. Like,
yeah, the first Halo game was announced on July 21st, 1999, during the Macworld Conference and Expo. I don't even know what the hell is that.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is either. Like,
it was to be a real-time strategy game for Mac and Windows. Gaming on the Mac, frick, filthy peasant.
I'm impressed. Like I said, I'm impressed with the moves they're making, and I think it can honestly only benefit the game, the company going forward. Now, as far as what's going to happen with these games, as far as the IPs they're working on, because they are working on some other stuff, and this, much like Paul was saying, for an independent company, this is going to be difficult, especially since they want to work on other IPs. So they need this money. The question's going to be, what is going to happen with those IPs?
You know what? To return back to the point where Brendan was saying earlier, that it's like you could see Destiny 3 on PS4. I know you didn't agree on that part, but I could see something happening, and it's, we have Destiny 3. It's going to be released first on PS5 for a few months, and then it's going to be multi-platform.
Well, they've already said that's not happening. Like, they've already said there's no future plans whatsoever to make a Destiny 3 or to leave to be exclusive at any given time. The only thing that's a possibility at this point is that they might go back to doing exotic exclusive, like, weapons. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but like they used to.
I remember.
Yeah.
It was annoying.
Yeah, it was annoying. But you know what? You got to make the money the way you can. I see future Bungie games possibly going exclusive. Makes a lot of sense to me, but I do not whatsoever, based on everything they've said. And Bungie's they're pretty big straight shooters. If they're saying they have no plans whatsoever, they're not doing this. The whole reason we got in bed with these guys is so that we can keep doing Destiny the way we want to do it, I see no reason to not believe this whatsoever. Can that change?
Yeah, I think
it can, but they have no reason whatsoever to make these changes. It's not like Sony's saying, well, we own you guys now, you have to do what we're saying. No, they have a clear-cut contract that says they cannot interfere with what they do. So if they can't interfere, there's no reason whatsoever for them to change the way Destiny's going, like at all. They want an expansive universe. This is what they wanted with Destiny 1. They were only forced to go to Destiny 2 because of Activision. So there's no reason for us to get a Destiny 3. Now, with that said, I do see it possible that they may change the name of Destiny 2 when it comes to their next phase, because I think after Lightfall, I think it's like Lightfall is the last. I think there might be two more. It's like Lightfall and Darkness Rises. I don't know, whatever. After those two, the story that we've been going through all these years will be officially over, and they will spawn a new narrative, a new story, or whatever like that. Maybe we're deeper into the future or whatever. Who knows what the plan is for that?
I'm telling you, once these last two DLCs come out, you're going to see a whole trailer for something called D3, and I'm going to just sit here and go.
Possible, but they've already said that they're not planning to do that. Like I don't see any, and on top of that, since they didn't want to do 2, I don't see why they would do 3 when they don't have anybody telling them to do 3.
My whole thing is companies say they don't want to do something, then they end up doing it just as spur moment things.
Well, that's just it. First of all, you don't make changes like that spur moment. These are companies that put out products. It's not a matter of we're changing the formula overnight kind of thing. No, these are big changes that they would announce to us long before they even do them. Like that's not an overnight thing. We would know a year in advance that this is the direction they're going in. The perfect example was Overwatch 2. We knew about Overwatch 2 like 3 years before Overwatch 2 was even properly announced. This is not
if the model's working. If the model's working, I don't see them changing it. Exactly. I think if it works for them and it seems to be working for them, they're going to keep doing it. Yeah. And as you said, this deal is going to be great for Bungie. It's, in my opinion, going to solidify their future. I think it's going to solidify Destiny in the future. And whether they come out with a Destiny 3, I'm not sure. But if the model that they have now is working, there's no reason to fix it.
Agreed. They've already said that all they want to do is expand the world. That's all they want to do. That's the key for them, is expand the world.
Maybe with Sony now they'll have a bigger server enough to not have to sunset every damn thing.
They'll crash. I'm sorry, Destiny servers have the known thing. Day one of DLCs, they crash. It's okay.
You're absolutely right. Like, they always.
It's literally their staple.
People are gonna jump on these servers, and that happens all the damn time. Which is why I stopped jumping on this shit early. I usually just wait now a day and then I go and play, because day one it is an absolute mess.
Day one is over.
Name one multiplayer game that has servers that doesn't screw up on day one of any release.
I can't think of one personally.
But it doesn't happen. What was that?
Quake 2.
Couldn't tell you. I played Quake.
I haven't played it in years.
That's the only one I can pull and go Quake 2.
In my computer class.
Yeah, to pull that one from the vault.
You're damn sure right. I had to go vault skipping. Like, I know this one. Quake 2. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to take your word on that. I couldn't tell you whatsoever. I never bought Quake. I only played it.
I don't even know what Quake is. I heard the name. That's about it.
Quake is classic. Loved Quake.
It basically is the prelude to Halo, I think. Did it come before Halo?
It was the first arena multiplayer shooter. So basically, it was like all other multiplayer shooters basically go, "Hey, buddy, I'm your grandpa."
Yeah, it was like a spiritual successor to the Doom franchise.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, I know which one it is.
There's a way to go with that. I said Halo, but Doom is way better. Thank you very much. But yeah, any final thoughts, guys? We get ready to wrap this up.
The only thing I can hope is it gets Destiny even better than it is.
I hope it's good for y'all, because I'm not buying Witch Queen until like something changes, because I don't like my Titans keep being nerfed for no fucking reason. There's things that Destiny has done to piss me off that I don't know.
Well, that's the main issue. You're using a Titan, but yeah.
No, I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna balance
Titan
if you're gonna balance
supremacy.
characters class,
Here's the
balance
deal.
them all the fuck out.
Everyone feels slighted when the nerfs come down. And here's the thing. Everyone thinks that their main character is taking more blows than anybody else. This happens all the time. I hear Hunter mains, they've nerfed us in the ground. I hear Warlock mains, including myself, feeling like Warlocks are constantly picked on, and Titan mains say the same thing. The truth of the matter is, I could go through a list of major changes that each class has had that has nerfed them significantly from what they used to be. But you know what? People love to use the term nerfed. Nerfed means a change that has crippled a character. This is called balancing, and that's just what this was. They balanced Titans, they balanced Hunters, and they balanced Warlocks. The sandbox now, especially for PvP, is far more balanced than it's ever been. I mean, and I'm saying ever. Like we went from double primaries to 120 metas to the 600 RP meta, which was a nightmare for many people. I kind of liked it. It was a lot less skillful than 120 hand cannons. Now we're in the 140 shoddy. Well, I would say the shoddy era of 120 shotties.
Yeah,
now we're at 140s, but the realm is a lot more balanced. You can play a lot more weapons than ever before, even though fusion rifles are kind of popping off a bit right now, but it's not overbearing. Lots of new wacky weapons that we never would play any time before because you had to run the meta if you wanted to survive. It doesn't feel like that anymore. And the same goes for the characters. It's the same exact thing. I don't feel oppressed by these character abilities and what they've done recently. I applaud them, sure. Does it suck that I can't get 3 or 4 supers in a game? A little bit. You know, I do like the abilities or whatever like that, but gunplay should come first. People spamming abilities is nauseating.
Here's the thing. I have no problem with gunplay. Gunplay is where I get most of my kills from. Because I always either run shoddy, hand cannon, sword. That's what I run. Didn't make sense. That's what I run. That's why I always have all my shit in fucking making sure I don't die. But I just don't like that certain supers, no matter what, they've always been sort of not broken to say, but sort of overpowerful. But that also depends on how people have built their characters. I know Hunter mains who use Golden Gun. That is their bread and butter. Once they get it, you know you're dead.
Yeah.
I hate Warlocks just because they have the only tracking super that ever goes. But hey, that's what y'all got. I can't bitch about it.
They have what? I didn't catch that.
The only tracking super that literally will follow you around the corner. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The Nova Bomb?
You know, exactly. It annoys me, but I deal with it.
And you know why Nova Bomb is not nearly as used as other supers? You know why? Because I moves so slowly that it's a lot easier to evade than any other super in the game.
It used to not be that slow. That's why I go.
The middle tree chaos, and you see, middle tree
the
chaos
Dawnblades.
And top tree Dawnblade and a middle tree arc and top tree arc and bottom tree arc, because bottom tree arc allows you to teleport when you use it. You see those more because they're faster moving and easier to control, and the mobility you get from them pretty much trumps all. If you want a good shutdown super, Nova Bomb's the way to go. If someone busts a super, you can pop yours on them directly. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not throwing it directly at them while they're like below you or something like that, they can outrun that super every time, which is why you don't see it much. You especially don't see it in trials and whatnot, because again, it's difficult to land that damn Nova Bomb, especially when there's lots of corners to hide behind and things like that. Obviously, there's the one that breaks apart and allows you, it follows or whatever like that, is effective enough, but again, it moves so slowly that I've evaded them all the time. Like unless it's thrown directly on top of me, I can escape that thing almost every time. Especially if you're like a hunter and see it coming, you're gone.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem. The problem I had with super was mine, because I'm a striker titan, and I knew striker titans were broken at one point. I knew it.
Yeah.
Most people knew it. and I started learning other supers. The super I fancy now is fucking Shield Bubble because I like useful in both raids and when I need to actually do damage.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
That's being separated. That's being separated now in Witch Queen. The or the shield.
God damn it. Okay, so I got to choose defense or offense.
They changed the tier list of how supers work. The super popular, overpowered ones are going to take longer. They have to take longer so people can't just spam them all the time. And things like Bubble and the Warlock Well and stuff are the fastest supers. You can get maybe 2 wells or 2 bubbles in any particular match you play in, but you may only get 1 golden gun or 1 dawn blade or whatever, unless you're cracked. And you can get back that super really, well, I say really quickly, but the super gain is very slow, especially if you're not doing damage. That's why they changed it to neutral super gain, I guess is the way to put it, is almost like it is sludge slow. Like it if you watch, they've had many streamer content creators break this down. Fallout does probably the best breakdown of it. It moves so slow, it's insane. And the only way you can really get significant growth on your super is to do actual damage. They did that so teams stopped playing stall strats, where they hang around in the back or whatever like that, keep moving around to build their supers, and then they start chaining supers off of each other. Because obviously super kills create orbs. You pick up those orbs. You pick up those orbs, and
then they just get their super. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so they changed a lot of that stuff because of what people were doing with it. And that goes right back to what I said. The world in Destiny is far more balanced than it's ever been. Plus, they've now been able to start, because of the new changes to how the game works, how the servers work and things like that. They can now balance the PvP sandbox and the PvE one instead of how they used to do it, which was we tweak something in PvP and now PvE is entirely affected. Scatter Dive in PvE is significantly weaker than it was before, but in PvE, it is very strong to use. That's what we've been wanting for years, and we finally got it. So I know a lot of people, they took this away or they changed that thing, and now my character is not what I want it to be. That's fine. You can feel that way, but unless it's a significant enough change where it makes the character completely unusable, and I don't mean unusable in the sense that, it's not overpowered the way I used to like it. It's that it completely just not a usable. Perfect example, I would say, is Behemoth Titan. I feel like that was nerfed too heavily. And I know the reason they did it. Yeah, I know the reason they did it was because it was so busted when it came out that they had to make some significant balances. And that's, I will admit, a few things were nerfed a little too badly, like the Behemoth Punch, the one that can knock you backwards. That I feel like it's one of its best either movement abilities or, as a knockback, being able to knock them into a wall and hurt them or get a kill. I found that it was a very useful tactic. And if I understand if you want to lower the cooldown on it or whatever like that, fine. But they completely nerfed the knockback on it, making it far less significant. Now, they have changed certain things back, which is why it's a little better now. But I think we'll close it out there. Everybody kind of let them know where they can be found online.
You can find me on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Hover, Facebook, and YouTube at LeonardX44.
You can find me on Twitch, Discord, XPad. Why XPad? Anyway, XPad, Hover, TikTok, Instagram, All American Black Up.
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and most of the major platforms at either ELEMWIZ or LMWiz Gaming.
And as you know, you can find Supersize Senpai or Supersize on Twitch, Twitter, and of course YouTube. I also have a Discord channel coming, so stay tuned for that. I look forward to seeing all of you next week. Hey, fellas, as always, thank you guys for hanging out for another podcast. And I look forward to another episode of Dorkology 101 next week. And as always, class dismissed.